Hello and welcome. Today, we are diving deep into the hidden world of global shipping. We're going to pull back the curtain on how pretty much everything you own gets to you by focusing on one key player you've probably never heard of, the freight forwarder.
So think about it for a second. You go online, you find a cool new pair of sneakers, you click buy. A few days later, a box shows up. But how? How did that box actually get from a factory halfway across the world all the way to your front door? It definitely didn't just teleport.
Well, that journey is this incredibly complex dance. It involves a whole symphony of ships, planes, trucks, and a mountain of customs paperwork. And for that symphony to work, to not just be a bunch of noise, you need a conductor. You need someone making sure every single piece of the puzzle fits together perfectly. And that brings us right to it. Who is this conductor? What exactly is a freight forwarder? Let's break down what they are and, maybe just as important, what they're not. Okay, so here's the textbook definition. They organize and coordinate shipments. They get goods from point A to point B. It's accurate, but it's a little dry, right? Think of it this way. They are the ultimate project manager for moving your stuff around the world. That's why I love this orchestra conductor metaphor so much more, because here's the key thing to get. A conductor doesn't actually play the violin or the trumpet. And in the same way, a freight forwarder doesn't own the ships or the trucks. Their biggest asset isn't the physical hardware. It's their knowledge, their network, and their expertise in making everything work together seamlessly. Now, this is where things can get a little confusing, so let's clear it up. A carrier, that's the shipping line or the airline that physically moves your goods. A broker, they're basically just a matchmaker, connecting someone who needs to ship something with a carrier. But look at that bottom row, responsibility. This is the absolute game changer. A freight forwarder takes on full responsibility for the entire shipment. They're your one-stop shop, and if something goes wrong, the buck stops with them.
All right, enough theory. Let's see how this all plays out in the real world. We're going to follow that pair of sneakers we ordered, and we're going to see what a freight forwarder actually does, step by step.
Any international journey, whether it's for sneakers or car parts, pretty much breaks down into these 6 core stages. And our forwarder? They're the ones overseeing every single part of it.
So the journey begins. Step 1. The forwarder arranges for a truck to go pick up the boxes of sneakers right from the factory. That's called export haulage. Step 2. Those boxes arrive at the forwarder's warehouse. Here they get checked, they get logged, and, critically, the forwarder takes care of all the export customs paperwork so the sneakers are legally allowed to leave the country. Now, here's where one of their superpowers comes into play. Let's say you're a small business and you only have a few boxes of sneakers to ship. That's not enough to fill a whole container, right? That's called an LCL shipment. So the forwarder acts like a master of Tetris, combining your small shipment with other small shipments to create one full container load, or FCL. This is huge. It gives small businesses the kind of cost savings that used to be only for the big corporations. It really levels the playing field. Okay, so our container is packed and sealed. It's time for step 3, the long journey across the ocean. The container gets loaded onto a massive ship. But the forwarder isn't just sitting back and relaxing. While that ship is at sea, they're already working on step 4, electronically filing all the complicated import documents with customs at the destination. That way, there are no surprises when the ship arrives. And the ship has docked. We're on a home stretch. In step 5, the forwarder manages the customs clearance, pays any taxes or duties, and gets the container moved to their local warehouse. There, they do the reverse of what they did before. They deconsolidate, separating your box of sneakers from everyone else's. And that brings us to the grand finale, step 6, the final mile. They arrange for a local truck to deliver your sneakers right to your store or your warehouse. Journey complete. So, the sneakers made it. It seems pretty logical, but what's the real value here? Why would a business pay a freight forwarder to do all this instead of just trying to figure it out themselves? Well, the strategic value really comes down to these 3 pillars. 1, they save you money. Because they ship so much volume, they get way better rates than any single business ever could. 2, they save you time and headaches by handling all that complexity. And 3, and this one is maybe the most important, they minimize your risk. I love this phrase, a risk absorption layer. Think about all the things that can go wrong in international shipping. Customs delays, damaged cargo, new regulations, port strikes, the list goes on. A good forwarder is like a shock absorber. They use their expertise to shield your business from all that chaos, protecting you from costly delays and fines. And we are not talking about a small niche service here.
Just to give you a sense of scale, the global market for this was over $200 billion back in 2021. This is a massive, absolutely critical industry that makes our entire global economy work. But really, at the end of the day, the biggest payoff is this: focus. By handing over all the logistical nightmares to an expert, business owners and entrepreneurs can get back to doing what they do best: creating amazing products, talking to customers, and actually growing their business. So let's wrap this all up by looking to the future, because this might be a centuries-old industry, but believe me, it is changing at lightning speed. It's kind of amazing to think that this all started with innkeepers in London just helping guests send their luggage ahead. Compare that to today's global networks. And now, look at the future. It's all about technology. We're talking AI that can predict shipping delays, IoT sensors on containers that give you real-time updates. The best forwarders are becoming tech companies that just happen to move stuff. And that really leaves us with one final thought. In today's hyper-competitive world, logistics isn't just about moving a box from A to B anymore. It's a source of competitive advantage. So the real question every business needs to ask is this: is your logistics partner just moving your boxes, or are they a true strategic partner that's actually helping to move your entire business forward?